Evening guys, it's Friday 26th of April, week after the Easter bank holiday. Last week was absolutely scorching, and talking to the bailiff, he said it was rammed down here, but not with anglers, with picnickers and such like. Anyway, this weekend the forecast is something completely different. Rain was forecast and it's here now, so I put the bivvy up first when I got here. And also forecast is very strong winds, got a hurricane stormforce winds thing coming. That's due in the early hours of the morning and through tomorrow. I've got 2 nights available to me, so I'm going to see how I get on tonight and tomorrow. I may move on to somewhere else tomorrow if I'm not feeling it. Before I got my third rod out, I did have a fish on the left hand rod. I didn't film it because I didn't have the cameras out at the time. It was only a common, about 4 or 5 pounds, so I put it straight back. That was on the Pacific tuna wafter on the bottom bait. So yeah, had one fish and not been fishing too long. Anyway, it's starting to get dark. I've got to tidy up my bivvy. It's an absolute bomb site in here. So let me get on. Anything happens in the night noteworthy, then obviously I'll get the cameras out. So fingers crossed, you'll see me in the hours of darkness. Anyway, there you go. £20, 8 ounces. Happy days, that's what I came for. And still early. A couple of bleeps on the springers. I thought it was going to be a bream, to be honest. And then when I ate it, yeah, it started giving me a bit of a tussle. So, yeah, I'll show you the other side and then we'll get that back. So there you go. Can't go past. £20, 8 ounces. There's the other side of it. I'm over the moon. Always wanted a 28 Shearwater, and yeah, there you go. That's what they look like. It's actually a really nice fish, very tidy. So well chuffed with that. People say their mouths are a bit gammy. This one's perfect. Look, yeah, get this one straight back. Morning all. It's 20 to 6. Just having the first cuppa of the day, and just want to give you an update. The wind did pick up in the early hours, as predicted, although it doesn't seem as bad as they said it was going to be. It is quite windy, so it's caused a few false bleeps on the rods and what have you, even with the springers. Also, I think the ducks have been in the lines sometimes. But saying that, I'm pretty sure some of the little knocks I've had have been fish as well. So yeah, but since that 20 pounder, I've not had any proper indications on the rods. So I've just got up. I spotted some bait out really early. Normally I would avoid doing that at all costs, but some of the waters I fish, as soon as you put a spot out or cast that in the mornings, that is it. That's your chance is gone. However, this lake's a bit different, and I'm hoping that the sound of the spom in the water and the fact there's a bit more food out there may get them going. They do react to the sound of the spom. I've had takes on here when the spom's in the water, so they do react to it. So yeah, I've put about 10 spots out, all sort of over the left, between the left and middle rod, and I'm thinking that any of the smaller bits of the boilie will float over to the right end rod. So yeah, it's 8 foot of water, like I say, so it shouldn't spread too far. But yeah, that's it. That's the update. So now it's just sitting here waiting for the buzz to go properly. As you may be able to hear, it's raining still. It's rained on and off through the night. There was one point when I woke up and it was yeah, the stars were out, which was quite nice. In fact, when I played that 20 pounder in, it was raining all the time. Even when I was weighing and photographing it, raining. As soon as I got back in the bag, the rain stopped, and it stopped for a little while that time. But yeah, it's back. That's sod's law, I guess. Anyway, so I primed the spot again, like I say, with some bait. I'll show you the bait in a bit. And I think last night on the camera I told you I caught that trolling on an essential cell. It wasn't an essential cell, it was the life system. So it was a life system wafter topped with a bit of plastic cool, yellow plastic cool. and I trimmed the boilie down so that it was just floating above the hook when it was on the deck. So that's the update over, and hopefully you'll see me again soon, and we'll have a nice fishing in it, who knows. But in the meantime, I've got a nice cup of tea to have, and I'll jump back in the bag while I'm waiting. Catch you in a bit. Okay guys, just had this on the middle rod, common, £8–9 maybe. So that was on the Mark Pictures pop-up rig with an essential cell pop-up. So yeah, it's got a splash of water on the lens there, if you can see. That's a normal sort of stamp you get down here, but welcome nonetheless. Okay guys, update time, just coming up for 9 o'clock. I had a recast on the right hand rod because that's one I had the fish on last night, and I recast in the dark, so I thought I'd recast, make sure it's in the right spot. So put a fresh bait on, chucked it out, and about 5 minutes later a snotty green picked it up, got that in, and fresh bait on and chucked it back out. And I've just put another 6 or 7 spawns of bait out over the spot. As you may be able to tell, the wind's picked up. This was forecast for about 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. Like I say, it's now getting on for 9 o'clock. So obviously something's not adding up. The wind's either not as fast as they thought it was going to be to get here on time, or whether it's going to be the same speed of wind but just late. Who knows? But it is quite choppy. A few white caps on the water. I've had to turn the sensitivity down on the buzzers, and yeah, something just hit the bivvy. Yeah, because they kept bleeping away. So just waiting game. It's not fast and furious like it has been on here before for me. It's pretty slow really, but having the 20 did help, and yeah, it's, I don't really care. I've had a 20 pounder out of Shearwater, so happy days. I'll probably get my head down for half hour because I didn't sleep very well last night, because kept getting indications from whatever, the ducks and the wind and what have you. So yeah, I've got to get my head down for half hour and see what gives. But see you in a bit. So let me show you how to make that rig that I caught the 20 pounder on. First of all, I've got size 4 stiff rig straight hooks. I've got some 20 pound Camotex semi-stiff light camo, 30 pound rigidity, some bait floss, which I use this because it's like a brownish colour, a little bit of silicone tube. I just to tie the knots, use a baiting needle and a useful pair of scissors. So the first thing you need to do is cut off a length of the rigidity, just about 6 inches or so, and cut that off there. Take one of the hooks, then pass the rigidity through the back eye of the hook, like so. Now just be careful with this that you don't kink it. Then the other end, back through the eye like so. Now what you'll find is that rigidity has got its natural curve where it's been on the spool. You want to try and maintain that effect so it comes off out the hook like so. And it's at this point you'd normally put a swivel onto the loop that goes through the eye, but we're doing a bottom bait rig, so we're not going to do that. and I'll show you why. Once that starts going through, you can press this together and put a little kink in the rigidity, and again still try not to force it too much. You want it to come through of its own accord through the eye without causing any kinks. Just ease it down. Try and get those so they're both sitting in the same curve. So like I say, normally you'd have, if I zoom in on that, normally you'd have your swivel to join to on that little bit of loop there. If I'm going to get it to focus on that little loop there, but I'm going to tie bait floss to the eye of the hook and make an air coming off the shank. So I'm going to keep that curve like I say, so it comes round the front of the hook like so. Choose your length you want it to be. This one's about 1 inch, maybe a little bit less. I'm going to go there, and what I'm going to do is put a little kink in both lengths. Just bend it over itself. So you put a fold in. Both sections. Like so. Okay, don't know if you can see that on there. But basically, I've doubled it over, and you got both ends bent like so. Just get your semi-stiff, however long you want of that. I'm going to take about 12-14 inches off. Then what you want to do, so I'm going to get my other little tool out, which is a line stripper. I'm just going to take about 3 inches off the end of that, like so. So that section's stripped. Now we've got to do is tie this onto this. So, basically using the Albright knot. So you put your line through both sections, and I'm taking it right up to the coated section, up to the V in the rigidity. And then wrap that round both sections 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then what you got to do is you've got to come out the same way that it's gone through the V. So I've got to put that round back through the same way it's gone in, like so. And I'm just going to wet this and then gently ease it down, and this is where the uncoated section will become a bit longer. Ease it down nicely. I'm easing it down gently, and you end up with something like that. Okay, so now I need to trim off the tags of the rigidity and trim off the tag of the coated braid, and what we've got is about 8mm. I'll get that in focus. So what we've got is about 8mm the uncoated grade there on the hook length. Okay, so now I'm going to trim the rigidity, trim it fairly close. So that's the yoke section. What I'll do is I'll cover this complete knot in a bit of putty, not too much, just to keep it all nice and neat, and we're nearly done. Okay, so next step, we tie on the air. So using a bit of the braid, tie a loop in the end as you would do a normal hair rig. I use the needle to help me pull the loop through. There you go, it's a bit of a bigger loop, but that'll be alright. Trim that off. Then we've got a section of the silicone tubing. Not much, just about 2 or 3 millimeters, say 3 millimeters. Wouldn't go through, so I'm using a little baiting needle just to pull it through. Just be careful with this stuff because it does tear, so be careful you don't put the needle through the side of it or anything. Just ease that over nice and gently. Okay, so we've got here a bit of silicone tubing on. Put the silicone tubing over the point of the hook. Okay, so we'll get the point of the hook through the tubing and just ease it round. Make sure the hair material is not caught on the barb or anything. And thread the tubing over the eye of the hook and put it where you want the hair to sit, and then adjust the length of the hair by putting the tag in to how long you want the hair to be. I mean, I could put a boilie on at this stage and measure it that way, but I know roughly I'm going to be talking something like that. By the time I've got a boilie and a bit of fake corn on, that should be plenty. So thread the hair material through the eye of the hook. Quite difficult because we've got doubled up rigidity going through there now, so it's quite a squeeze. And then what you need to do is tie back on itself, a little grinner knot. So there you have the completed end section for the hook. Got the hair. Put the bottom bait on. We've got the doubled over rigidity, which in essence creates like a bent hook effect. A little bit too aggressive or anything. And then we've got the knot joining the two together and a little bit of a uncoated braid section. And in the other end I simply tie a loop to connect it to the swivel. So there you go, finished rig with the putty on, nice and neat. But and the beauty of this is these hooks are so sharp, they're super sharp, and with this rigidity, like I say, it acts like an extension of the hook. It's almost like acting like a bent hook, but when it's in the fish's mouth and you're playing a fish, it'll straighten out and won't cause any damage. So it's you're getting the benefits of the old bent hook, but without the dangerous qualities. So yeah, very nice. Okay guys, it's 2 o'clock And quick update, nothing's happening with the rods. The wind is still really blowing a gale, really quite severe at times. Getting lots of false indications on the rods, but nothing that looks fishy. I've seen a couple of fish show to the right, out in the middle of the lake, but nothing to make me want to move swims or anything. But mind you, moving swims in these conditions would have been fun. I think as soon as I unpegged the bivvy, I'd be blown down the other end of the lake anyway, holding on to it. But that said, I've tied some rigs up for later. I've showed you how I tie my Combi Link rig, so hopefully you guys can practice doing that one. It's a bit of a hybrid between what Mark Pictures does. He does a bottom bait rig and he does a pop-up rig. And so basically I've taken the pop-up section of the rig, put a hair on it, and tied that Combi Link style rather than using the swivel or anything. Now my thinking behind it is, obviously I've had quite a few fish on the Ronnie rig, and the Ronnie rigs has bottom baits as well. But obviously when you look at them, there's quite a lot of metal involved in that rig, and I thought this way doing it trims down the weight but still has really the same mechanics. It spins and turns a dream with the uncoated section of braid, and yeah, I really like the look and feel of it. It feels very aggressive, so try tying one up yourselves and have a look, see what you think. Give it a go, let me know if you have anything on it. But yeah, so I obviously had that 20-pounder last night on it, so I'm well chuffed. Yeah, so I've tied out a couple more of those, and I might, it's a shame that the action's not a bit faster. I'd like to have experimented a bit more with some rigs. But tonight I'm going to probably have at least 2 rods with that rig set up, using the live system wafters and the top rib corn. Same as I had that fish last night basically. I'm going to put up one of these 2 rods, so see what gives there. But like I say, it's blowing a gale, it's really strong wind, and what I'm going to do is going to wait for it to die down, which is meant to be about 5 o'clock, and as soon as the wind's died down we're going to re-tackle the rods up, get them back on the spots, spom some more bait over, and try and do that as early as I can this evening, so it's all set nice and quiet for the evening spell, and we'll see what gives. In the meantime, there's not a lot else for me to do. I might cook myself some lunch and just relax and enjoy the sound of the wind and the watching the waves go by. Catch you in a bit. Okay guys, here's my spod mix, or what's left of it. I'm just going to put some out in a second, but it's the right concoction. I've got a couple of Nash baits in there that have been crumbed up. I think they're nuts or creamy nut or something, and I've got some monster crab in there. Basically these are shelf life boilies that I had left over from, well, when I went on the boat trip last summer, so they've been sitting in the garage in airtight bags, but I must admit the smell did seem to go from them. So I've crushed them up using my new bit of kit, which is this crusher from NGT, just $9.99 on Amazon or eBay or whatever, and it did a great job of crushing the boilies down. So in there as well I've got some Pacific tuna, some cell and some sweet corn, plus some powder mix, bit of the crayfish meal and a bit of the creamy nut mix from CC Moore, plus I put in some flavourings. I put in a little bit of the whiskey, a little bit of the Minamino, and the Coronation evaporated milk. So yeah, it's a bit of a concoction, but it does smell really good, and I think it looks good as well, so let's see what the fish think. But yeah, it's a bit of a mixture and it does smell particularly good, so I'll get a few more spods out now for the night. I've just recast the rods. Whatever you do when you're spodding, don't forget your finger stall. It could save you a trip to the hospital. Yeah, you could get a really nasty cut in your finger if you're not using one of these. The other good tip is to make sure your spool is nice and tight and hasn't got any give in it, because any give in that could again cut your fingers and it will reduce your casting distance. So 2 little tips there for spodding, simple tips, but don't forget them. I've had 2 bream after I've been spodding the bait, and then this one ripped off, and it's £13.6. Nice little mirror, gave a good strap, so happy days. It did catch me off a line though, I think, so even though I think it was this one catching the line, so I've got 2 rods to sort out and recast. But yeah, so that's on the combi link I showed you earlier. Happy days. Combi link and the live system of the top of fake. Nice fish. Show the other side. Nice, £20.6. Happy days. So I've had a few bream this evening, 12-3, little twitches, turned out to be bream. This one ward off, knew it was a carp straight away, and there, gave a bit of count for itself considering its size. So anyway, let's get it back, see if we can get some more. Okay guys, 9:30, left end rod, tore off, and it was this little fella, £12.6 on the combi rig, and the live system waft over the top of a corn. Anyway, I'm going to get it straight back. Morning guys, just coming up for 6 o'clock. I've got woken up this morning by the sound of a little mouse in my rubbish bag, and as I went to pick it up and shake it outside, he jumped out and jumped back in the bivvy again. So I can't hear him at the moment. Hopefully he's got out somehow, but maybe I'll find him when I'm packing up. Anyway, it's an absolutely gorgeous morning. Little bit of cloud, sun's just coming up over the horizon over the back, and yeah, it's nice. Fish wise, I had a fish at 11:30 last night, little common. It's one of those strange sort of takes where it just kept going up and down, up and down, up and down. Gave me plenty of time to get my boots on, and yeah, little common. As I got out, it was absolutely freezing, my teeth were chattering. and I just couldn't wait to get back in the bag, so I played him in, unhooked him in the net and let him go straight away, re-chucked the rod out, and that was that. I just couldn't wait to get back in the bag. It was so cold. I guess I was a bit tired as well because I didn't sleep well the previous night. The ducks weren't so noisy last night. I think they were sort of nesting right in the swim on Friday night, and I think they moved on last night, which was nice. I did have a couple of occurrences where they hit the lines, but yeah, nothing like Friday night. And then apart from that fish at 11:30, I had a knock about an hour or so ago on the middle rod, but nothing came of it. So that's the fish activity. I'm talking about the ducks here, they come again. So now I'll probably spot a bit more bait out. Not got much left. I'll probably spot a bit more out in a bit, and I'll think about recasting. On this lake I'm not that fussed about recasting. On some lakes, if I only had a few hours left to go, I'd keep the baits where they are and hope for the best, because I'll be off about 11 o'clock today, I think. I'd normally just sit on my hands and wait for the rods to rattle off, if they ever did. On this lake I've had fish not long after casting. Sometimes I actually think they react to the sound of the lead in the water, and they may even move to it on this lake. They do like bait on this water, and they're not frightened of the leads by the sound of it. They definitely respond to the sound of a spom. Yeah, and that times we had fish to take while you're spomming over the top of them. So yeah, it's one of those waters where you don't have to worry about things like that, which is quite nice. So I'll contemplate what to do, whether I recast them or recast one or two of them. But like I say, I'll definitely put some more bait out there. Not got a lot left, but it'll go out there probably sooner rather than later, so it's got time to be in the water and draw some fish in before I go. Anyway, that's me waffling enough, and I'll catch you later. Okay guys, it's gone up to 10:30. I've already started packing some of the gear away. I've got a bivvy and the rods to go now. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day. This sun was out first thing this morning, but it's still found going. It's quite chill in the air. The next time I get a bit busy with some day anglers. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day soon. Get home. Very happy with this session. £20. Couple of doubles, a few small ones. I had a bite earlier, a couple of hours ago, the left-hand rod, and it was jumping up and down, and then I basically got back and hit into it, and there was nothing there. So that's the only sort of action I've had this morning. So very quiet. But yeah, I'm going to call it a day there. And so it does happen, so I'll get the camera back out for you guys. But until then, I'll see you soon. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Subscribe by clicking the button over there.